Welcome back to some more F1 25 My Team career mode, guys, on my channel. We arrive here fresh off the back of the absolute classic that was the Austrian Grand Prix last time out of the Red Bull Ring. A dry to wet race, huge tyre gamble at the end, risking puncture territory. Go watch it, link in the top right. I won't spoil anything else, guys, but do watch it because it is going to influence what's going to happen in this episode. But yeah, as you can see, we have had a huge boost in fan rating. We are so close to level 3, and if we get that, it will unlock huge opportunities for us moving forward. Now, we've received a whole bunch of research upgrades, development upgrades, activities achieved, and yeah, we hit a lot of our targets. Now, we have a short turnaround from the 30th of June to the 3rd of July to get everything prepared, and I want to get that level 3 fan rating. That's the thing I'm most looking for here today. So, as you can see, we are a whisker, literally a hairline away from getting it. Now, positive feedback from the last race, of course, getting the podium by Tice Hartmann. Very happy with that result. And we also increase our title sponsor loyalty, which is really good because they're more confident with us, and that is going to unlock a new logo design for X-Formig, our title sponsor. However, surprisingly, fresh off the last race, we've actually dropped back down to last in the fan rating. So even though we was 8th before, or 9th, we're now back to 11th, when nothing has happened to basically knock that. So that's interesting that we can still drop and slip through the cracks, even if things aren't going well. Now, we've received an update on the research, so we're going to do another one for the Halo. That one was front downforce, this one's going to be rear downforce, and because we have received the front wing upgrade, we're now going to develop it and get that moving. So to go with that, energy store cells have been researched. We're going to do a monocoque structure upgrade as well, and yeah, we are improving rapidly. Our corporate once again has leveled up. Secondary sponsor team, which basically means we are going to get a 5% increase in secondary sponsor payouts, but we're going to add some more to that because we have to select a new facility upgrade. Now for this one, I had a bit of a look, a bit of browse of what works best, and in the end I went for something quite safe, and it's going to be sponsor negotiation team. Basically a 5% increase from our title sponsor to basically increase our cash flow. Now, activities, not a lot to do, 2-day turnaround, very short, but the two that we're going to select here are focused entirely on fan rating. I'm hoping I can get that little nudge on fan rating from now until Britain. So eyes on the top right. Yes.
Have you got a moment? Need your input.
Now we have a corporate facility event. Before we address the fan rating improvement, let's take care of this first and see what it entails. Now you can see we have a behind the scenes documentary, and to be fair, whether we accept or decline, neither one has a positive or a negative effect. So we are going to accept it and try and hopefully just gain a bit more popularity to the casual viewer. Now because we have that level 3 fan rating, we've unlocked additional sponsor slots on our car. So I started to get creative, and again, you can see here, we've also unlocked that new X-Formig title sponsor logo design. So I started to get creative and, you know, modify the livery a little bit, sponsor placement as well, trying to increase the secondary sponsor weekly income in the top right as high as possible. So the more logos we spam on the car, the better. And yeah, we had a pretty decent end design. Savant has moved to the front wing. We've reorganized some other sponsors. For example, the Halo now is entirely X-Formig, and we've got Aperture there redesigned on the side of the nose cone. And generally speaking, I love the X-Formig design on the nose. It looks really nice and clean and fits really well, which is what I wanted it for. But yeah, we have more upgrades as well in just those short couple of days that went by. So a research project being replaced in the chassis, and we now have to assign the front wing gurney flap, and that's going to go to Jarno Otmir because we are racing as Nikola Stolov this weekend. So here is how the chart looks heading into Silverstone. Haas have moved up. At the minute, we are a whisker, and I'll say a hairline away from overtaking them and hopefully being the 8th best team in the pack. Still big gaps to close after that to Alpine and Co beyond, but for now, things are looking good. We have an owner training point, which we'll take care of in the next episode. For now, we're going to jump into the weekend's action, selecting Nikola Solov, and we're going to get started. First off, the forecast is dry. Rare for Silverstone, rare for Britain. Championship standings, you can see we're 8th and 9th with both of our drivers looking very, very good there, well in the top 10. And in the constructors, also very comfortable in P5. Now, setup wise for this one, pretty simple. We are going to just modify the existing preset that's been selected for us, which should work well. You can pause the video and copy the values if you so wish. And we then jump into the practice programs as always. Now, I actually missed my gate into Brooklyn and only got a green through Luffield, so not exactly an optimal start, but we eventually finished up well, got purple everywhere else, and still achieved a maximum score. So job done, hit our objectives as well, and we start out good in practice. Notice the Aperture logo on the side pod there on each side, just below the halo. You can see it there just peeking out. Just trying to see if I can find the sweet spot for that one, and yeah, just rearranging them sponsors to look nice on the car. You can see we succeed in the ERS management as well, pretty decently. We save battery, especially in sector 3 out of Stowe, last chicane. And we now jump into our race simulations. I've done these on the hard tyre for a change. I wanted to get some data and see how that tyre holds up. And I can't lie, Silverstone in this game is lovely to drive. Straight, normal direction and reverse, which I've covered before on the channel. Link in the top right to my 100% reverse race as Lewis Hamilton. Now, job done for us in that one. We achieve a maximum score. Tyre wear looks good, fuel burn looks excellent, and yeah, generally speaking, it's a good start to the weekend. Pace wise, you can see we actually went quickest on our last lap, so the hard tyre really working well. Now, with that out of the way, we finish in P19. Jarno's in P20, so is that a sign of things to come? Are we destined to struggle here this weekend? Because that's quite a way away from the competition. Now, again, we have those reduced R&D points, that 90% sliding scale development being reduced from 115. Last episode, if you haven't seen it again, go check it out. But now, qualifying.
Welcome along, everybody, to a venue that was built for speed. Once an airfield, now one of the finest racetracks in the world. It's qualifying day here at Silverstone for the British Grand Prix.
Now, let's get into it, shall we? Soft tyres are on the agenda for this one, and no surprises there. Now, I expect the pace to be strong. Based off those practice results, I'm assuming it's going to be a very competitive field, and we're going to have to be perfect to get in the mix today. So, we'll see. So far, I can tell you this first banker lap has gone extremely well. Very committed lap, straight on the pace. The only issue is we've run out of deployment already, so that is going to hamper our final sector. So that's going to be potentially some time gain from here all the way up to the line. We do a 1:27.6 and go P6 in what was a really...
Okay, so the current fastest lap, 1 minute 26.1.
In what was a really good lap. My reaction there, you can see I'm actually quite surprised. We are well over a second off P1, so it does seem to confirm that we are a little bit off the pace this weekend, and the AI are quite strong, which is great, you know, for the 110 AI to be fast around here. So we're going to go for our usual strat, you know, we cool down lap and then go for a second push. And I just want to see if there's any time to find. And to be honest, we found a little bit in sector 1, and I mean a little bit. And I found a few fractions elsewhere, but there wasn't really much more there. The majority of the time is going to be right now because I've managed my battery a bit better this time, so we're not going to run out of deployment. And that should mean if we keep it tidy through here, that should be free lap time gain all the way to the line. Bit of a snap and oversteer on the exit, but we do improve by 2.5 tenths, and that is P13, which lifts us off the brink of elimination. Now, to be fair, it looks a little bit better in terms of pace than the position, because Jarno right now is on the cusp, but we have 4 tenths in our pocket. So I'm actually going to gamble and not go back out to save tyres, and it paid off. We go through in P15, and actually we went through comfortably by 4 tenths over Bortoletto. Jarno is out. We lose one of our cars in 18th place, so Solov in, and we lose Otmir. So there's your lot. Q1 done and dusted. So we're now going to move into Q2. We're going to have 2 sets of softs to burn in this one, and we are going to run minimum fuel because the pace is legit. What I mean by that is the AI are rapid and I am already on my limit. So in Q1, I believe we did a 0.4 just now, so that's going to be the reference lap time for this one. So 103.2 at the second sector split as a reference time. That's about 0.3 up on what we done in Q1, I believe. Into the last chicane, trying to hold on to the car a little bit deep in that first one, so we kind of lose a little bit through the way out on the exit. We run out of deployment as we cross the line to a 27.2, so that is a personal best by 0.2, but
The fastest lap at the moment, 1:25.4.
that is brutal, mate. We're nearly 2 seconds off. The pace is legit. Verstappen's on a flyer, and yeah, we are currently somehow safe in PA, but I believe there's going to be some improvements. I expect Sonoda and Piastri to move up. So we're going to go again and look to improve. We know there's time on the run to the line with the battery, but the lap before was pretty much perfect. Genuinely, unreal lap. I didn't think Q3 was possible, and we've put a shift in. We've put in an absolute flyer of a lap. A 27.0, 0.2 quicker. But I'll be honest, I don't think there's any more pace in the car. That is the absolute limit. And we make it into Q3 by 0.5. What a lap in front of, the home crowd for the team. Not for Solov, of course. Solov, not being from Bulgaria, of course, not UK native. But for the team, it's a home race, and that's good for us. And hopefully will go down well with the fan rating. But for Q3, I actually opted to not go out and do a lap. We have one set of softs left, which in hindsight was a mistake. It turns out this was actually a Q3 specific obligated set that you have to use. So I actually pointlessly saved tyres, which wasn't ideal in my mind. But even still, I was happy with Q2. In hindsight, if I'd matched that lap, I could have got P8 if I matched it. But I don't mind. Honestly, I'd rather, just save the engine a bit. I thought I was saving a set of tyres, and yeah, that's qualifying.
Welcome everyone as you join us at a former Second World War aircraft base, now converted into one of the great motor racing tracks. Britain is one of only 2 countries to have held a Grand Prix in every year of the Formula One World Championship, and long may that continue. This is Silverstone, and this is the British Grand Prix. Straddling the border of Northamptonshire and Buckinghamshire, the 18 corners of Silverstone Circuit form the 3.6-mile beating heart of Formula One. It's been reinvented over the years, with Turn 1 now the fast right-hander of Abbey, but the magic of racing is as strong here as it's ever been. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Lewis Hamilton yesterday puts him on pole position, and Lando Norris lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Tsunoda, Russell, Max Verstappen and Leclerc, Piastri, Antonelli, Sainz and Nicolas Soloff, Stroll, Doohan, Isaac Hadjar and Fernando Alonso, Hulkenberg, Albon, Gabriel Bortoleto and Jarno Opmeer, Gasly, Behrman, Ocon and Liam Lawson rounds off the grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Well, it's been a long time since I last worked with you. Good to see you again today, Anthony Davidson. Well, they've done so well this year, the 11th team, but that means that next year could be that little bit tougher because, as we all know, the better you do, the higher you finish in the championship, the less development time in the wind tunnel you get the following season.
Absolutely right, Crofty. It's almost like, think of it like this, a success tax. It's a nice problem to have, isn't it, really? But that's what the team are going to face moving forwards. But look, they've shown their quality so far, and I'm sure even with that limited wind tunnel time, they'll be great.
Now, we're getting into a rarity here. I'm actually post-commentating this one because my recording, for some reason, my microphone didn't pick up. It's something that happens when my controller's plugged in sometimes when I'm recording replay cameras. It reassigns the microphone input, and if I don't notice, then I'll record the whole thing without my microphone working, which was the case for this one. Anyway, that aside, let's talk about the strategy here. With P10, no grid drops for anybody. So the strategy, even though I wanted to save a set of softs for the race in case of emergency, those softs aren't available that I saved before, so we don't have any fresh softs available. So the strategy is medium hard, which to be fair, is actually default in this game. Last game, it was soft medium or medium soft easily. In this one, though, with the increased tyre wear, it's medium hard or hard medium. So to be fair, it wouldn't have been a soft that I would have used, barring a late safety car or a VSC or a red flag. So, yeah, the strategy, medium hard. Fuel, we're going to go for 26 laps exactly because fuel burn has been excellent recently and has been fairly accurate. No rain forecast in this one, so we're going to jump right in, starting out with the formation lap. And this one was quite difficult. The mediums didn't want to warm up. The pace was okay, but just, a difficult tyre to really bring into the right temperature window. And, yeah, we've done the best we can. We'll do a couple of burnouts here to try and just get them rears lit up, and that will be it. So we're going to quickly readjust our fuel, our ERS, and also our brake bias, which I run more forward on the formation lap to warm the front. And yeah, we're going to jump into it. UK crowd, pressure to perform. Let's get to it as we get our grid slot just about purple. It's showtime. So here we go. Lights on at Silverstone. Do we get a good start like the last episode? Yes, we do. We fly off the line. It's not quite as good as Austria with P4 to P1, but it's good enough as we jump 2 cars and we're up to P8 already as we race towards turn 3. We've got 2 wide ahead between Piastri and Leclerc. Leclerc on the soft tyre, like Antonelli behind, so we'll have to watch out for those two who should be rapid in the first 3 to 5 laps of this one as we kick out onto the Wellington straight. Piastri ahead of Leclerc for the time being, but Leclerc wants that one back as we go side by side towards Brooklands. We're going to just let them two duke it out as we want to slot in here and try and find our race pace early on. Taking a bit of a different line, you'll see through here throughout the weekend, throughout the race, a bit tighter to try and break the dirty air as we race towards Cops. You can see Hamilton leads the way, Norris second, then the Red Bulls as Antonelli has a look, but we're going to commit and just cut across and turn in and give him all that dirty air on the front, and that gives us a bit of a margin and some respite heading into the S's and onto the hangar straight to not be under pressure from the young Italian in the Silver Arrows. So good first lap, we'll take that. You can see Hamilton leads, Norris in second, then it's both Red Bulls followed by Russell, Leclerc, and then we've got, of course, Piastri in front. So key thing now is to get within DRS and get within a second, and that is exactly what we achieve, as you can see here, onto lap 2. So job done with that one. Very good first lap, productive first lap, making progress, and we are going to have DRS as it is now available, so that will help us, maintain our position. Now onto a few corners later, and Piastri's getting dropped. Leclerc's pressuring on softs ahead, and it's putting Piastri on a gap. And I believe, as that is the detection point right there, I don't think he has it, but we do. However, Antonelli is really pressuring me here on them soft tyres. They're really working well in this initial phase of the race. And he's going to go to the outside as we head towards Stowe, but I'm just going to brake late and make sure we lock in and make sure that P8 is ours. So we hold on for the time being as we head on to the next lap, lap 3. You can see here we've got a little train forming as we take a different line. Piastri, Solov, Antonelli, and I believe it's Carlos Sainz behind in the Williams. Now this time Antonelli caught me by surprise, got a decent run, and we have to leave some space, but then Sainz drives straight.
Okay, the underbody's taken some damage. You might start to notice it soon.
Sainz drove straight into our side pod. We was wide, but you know, I couldn't go anywhere else. I was already on the edge of the track, and we've now got damage on the side pod. Apparently, it looks like it's the floor on the MFD, but apparently on the radio it says side pod damage. So here's a replay. You can see we get forced wide, and then Sainz just understeers, dirty air. It opens up, and he can't control it. I think he got damaged. His end plate still seems to be on this car, which I'm shocked about that he didn't get any damage from that. But we are now a little bit hamstrung with side pod damage. Now I don't know exactly what side pod damage or floor damage, you know, entails, whether it's, you know, lack of downforce, lack of straight line speed, car instability, increased tire wear. But you can see Sainz there ran a bit wide through cops, and I feel like he's just struggling a little bit in these right-handers, which could point potentially to some damage. It's not visual, his end plate is still there, but maybe he has light green or, you know, yellow damage. Either way, I'm close here and I'm just going to go for it. We've got really good straight line speed, and we're going to make the move and retake P9. And Sainz actually started to drop back suddenly. He took Doohan with him as Piastri Antonelli swap. But yeah, it seems like Sainz now does have damage and started to drop through the field, because then Hajar got through as well. So yeah, Doohan eventually caught back up to me. He had really good pace in the Alpine and looked really, really quick. And we get a yellow flag, which I don't know, I'm going to assume that's behind based off the mini-map. We'll get confirmation, but it looks like a Williams, and that is, I think it's Albon, and he just has a mechanical.
Green flag.
Mechanical failure, engine goes pop, and he's going to park that one up and call it.
I've got information on Albon for you. Right, they've got a serious car issue. It looks like they're retiring.
So yeah, unfortunate one for Albon as Antonelli Piastri swap around again, and this time Doohan has a look. I'm going to turn in though. We're not going to do the same thing twice. We let Antonelli go through last time, and that cost us side pod damage. So I completely just turned in on Doohan, and we are not letting that one happen again. Onto the hangar straight. We actually got a decent gap here. We've actually dropped Doohan out of DRS because of that. He really lost time and got a whole lot of dirty air. So yeah, Piastri Antonelli swap again, and them softs on Antonelli's car are really holding up well. As we lose George Russell.
Yellow flag.
George is out. He was ahead of us. There he is on the right. So we've lost another one, but that one gives us a free position, and suddenly we're P8 and we're catching another car ahead. Not too sure who it is, but here's Russell's moment, so I'm going to assume a mechanical, and there it is. So the Mercedes engine goes pop. We've got one of them in our car as well, and in the meantime we've caught up to one Max Verstappen, who has started to drop back through the field. Piastri goes for the move. Antonelli's already got through and has gotten away, so Antonelli's flying in the Mercedes here today. I tried to have a look down the inside of Luffield. You can see an end plate is missing on the front right for Max, and now Doohan suddenly gets the run. I don't have the battery to fight this one, so we're going to have to yield and let that one go. I'm just going to make sure we stay close, as there's another bit of debris there. I think Doohan loses an end plate. I think that's off his car this time, as Verstappen washed out with that damage. And yeah, suddenly now we've got two damaged cars ahead of us here. You can see Verstappen really struggling, as we also have a bit of an oversteer moment.
Grip is probably dropping due to wear, so don't be too aggressive.
Either way, we are going to go through here. We can't lose any more time. We have to get this move. And here's what happened to Verstappen. So Leclerc down the inside, and there's contact as they kind of meet in the middle. And yeah, quite similar to my incident with Sainz. Difference is, you know, Sainz hit me a bit further back in the car, and yeah, he got damaged. So we know Doohan has left end plate damage. We now have over 60% tyre wear as well on the front left, which is starting to struggle. We've dropped Verstappen. Antonelli pits.
Okay, we want you to pit this lap, so push now, push.
And that's the state of play. So we are going to stick to the strategy, and we are going to box on this one. The question is just Doohan box? No, he stays out. So now suddenly an undercut window has appeared. Of course, Doohan with wing damage. We still have that side pod damage. We're going to try and undercut to get ahead of Doohan and also not just pass him, but hopefully get out of his DRS, pull away. As we box, we actually hold up Piastri on the way in, and I think Piastri got held by maybe, I think, Hadjar in the V-carb as well. I'm not 100% certain, but a slow stop for Piastri as we switch onto the hards. This time, it's a good stop from the crew. We had a couple of slow ones recently, but that one is on the money, and you can see visually we are right there with Oscar. So we're going to rejoin.
Okay, stay clear of the white line on the exit or receive a penalty for dangerous driving if you cross onto the track.
Hard tyres, and we're going to be on our own. A little bit of clean there. We've got, you can see Hadjar just behind there, Bortoletto as well on softs. But crucially, we don't have any DRS in front or behind, so we can do our pace. Now, this outlap is crucial. Where is Jack Doohan? Everybody is in, so this is going to be a critical moment in this race. Through turn 1, there's the arrow, and there he is, leaving the pit exit. And currently, he's actually got DRS, and he's within my DRS, but he's got cold tyres. So we are going to put him on a gap straight away here through Abbey, turn 4, turn 5, onto the Wellington Straight. And also, we've actually gained half a second on Piastri on the outlap, so we're quicker than him at this point in time. On the cold tyres, we are quicker than the McLaren. Now, we've actually got ourselves just within the DRS detection point using every last bit of our battery, but we get DRS on Piastri, and that is critical because now we will just get dragged along and dragged away from Jack Doohan, of course, with that damage. And you can see the gap now on lap 19. Doohan's dropped through the field with damage. Hadjar's 5+ behind, and this right now is a fight for P6. All we have to do is manage our tyres, manage our ERS, and hopefully we can strike around lap 25 and get Piastri at the death. So, 7 laps to go. It's looking pretty good, or at least that's what I thought. DRS failure, and it stayed open. Huge moment into Brooklands, but we managed to hold on to the car, just hanging on. But this is not what you want at Silverstone. A high-speed circuit with very fast corners. The car's going to be super unstable. And look at this, within a lap, Hadjar has caught me, and I don't have the car, I don't have the grip, I don't have the downforce. The back end is completely gone. And suddenly what looked like potentially a P6 if we got Piastri is now looking like a survival job to try and get a point as Hadjar goes to the outside. The good thing is that when you have a broken DRS and it's open is that you're very hard to pass on the straights. So as long as you place your car well into the corners, you can defend reasonably well. But like I said before, this is a track which doesn't suit an open DRS failure because the corners are so quick. At the moment, we're just keeping our car in the middle of the road, making it as wide as possible, a Giga 97 racing car, but can we hold on? Through the S's, we're just coasting the car through. Hadjar has a brief look there into Chapel as we lose the back end in 5th gear. Onto the hangar straight though, we are trying to hang on here as we'll see if Hadjar commits, though he doesn't. So again, we turn in a bit earlier, keep our car in the middle of the road, and so far it's working out okay. If we could just get our DRS back, we can still do this, and we can still finish P7, which would be insane because I didn't even expect, P7 in the first place. But then at the last corner, we have another massive one. I don't know if it's in 4th or 5th gear, but the back end just went round, and suddenly we have plummeted out of the points. We go from P7 to P12 in one swoop, and it's only going to get worse because we have Gasly and Doohan sniffing behind, looking for a move. And yeah, I mean, look at the gap ahead. We've lost it. We've completely lost it all. The DRS is not coming back, and this looks like almost a permanent issue. And I wonder if we pit, will that fix the problem? As now the Alpines either side flank us and get past into Stowe. I'm now running out of battery as well, And we have more cars on the way. Lawson queuing up, Behrman as well. Signs also, they're all just waiting to get through. And yeah, I don't have an answer right now. Unfortunately, our DRS is just staying open. And we're just losing this race. Simple as that. We have another moment there in 6th gear through the last corner. No downforce on the back end. And Lawson capitalizes and goes through. And now Behrman is looking to pressure as we just try and hold on for pride at this point. As we lose the back end again there through turn 3. I just can't get the car to stop. One adjustment I should have made earlier was the brake bias up to 55. That would have helped a little bit, but I didn't realize at the time. And you can see now, like, yeah, Behrman's going to go through here. I've given up at this point. There's no reason to fight this, really. I'm just holding on to see if my DRS will fix itself. And maybe I can try and fight back at the end, because the pace has been good all race. We've had really excellent race pace. And, you know, the queue of cars is right there. We've still got 4 laps to go. We can maybe still get a point. But the reality is, it wasn't happening. It wasn't getting fixed. Stroll goes past. And, yeah, shortly after, Jarno is the next car. We're not going to hold him up. We'll let him go here into the old turn 1. And my theory now was, you know what? I'm going to box and see if I can fix the issue. Bortoletto then got by as well. He's the last car on track, you know, of the active.
Pitting this lap then. Come into the pits at the end of this lap.
Last car on track of the active runners. And I'm going to box just to see if this is a permanent issue. And, you know, can you fix it in the pits? So we're going to head in and put this theory to the test. So we're just going to bolt on another set of mediums. We are going to get lapped as well, by the way. Look at the mini map. You can see P1, P2, Hamilton, Norris heading through Stowe. So we are going to go a lap down, which is going to be the last lap for them. So this will essentially be our last lap once we leave the pits. And I'm just doing this to basically see if it's going to fix our issue. So into our pit box. Does the warning sign go off?
Okay, let's go now. Come on. Perfect job on the turn in there, mate. Looks like a nice stop time. We're happy with that one.
Now the icon went off and literally it came back on here at the hangar straight. So the issue was only temporarily resolved. This time though, it happened and it caught me with my DRS shut. So we had both issues today and it just seems like it was a permanent issue. Hydraulic, mechanical, who knows. Either way, we finish P20.
And that's the end of the race. We'll see you in Parc Fermé.
And Lewis Hamilton takes the checkered flag and once again wins.
Well, I'm sure I've seen an increased hunger, increased desire from this driver this weekend, Crofty, as they've performed in front of their home crowd. And drivers often say they feel extra energy from inside the car, and I really feel like we saw that, we witnessed it here today.
It's what they've all been racing towards, waiting for them. High above the pit lane is our podium. And for the lucky 3, it's time to stand on it. It's a familiar sight in Formula One, and here it is once again. Lewis Hamilton with the trophy held high, celebrating a masterful victory.
So an absolute heartbreaker on home turf as we finish pointless. It was a shootout, straight fight for the two Brits, Hamilton and Norris out front, with Norris getting the fastest lap. The giant Yuki Tsunoda on the podium, as you just saw, getting P3. And yeah, there is your lot. We should have finished P7. If not, I think P6 was more than possible. We had the pace. We was comfortably sitting on Piastri's rear end, and we could have got that one, but instead it's a 0. And yeah, Jarno also was nowhere to be found. Verstappen gets no points. The championship leader, P12. That's a big one. And Hamilton, Norris, Leclerc will all close in the driver standings. But you can see we lose Russell, we lose Albon, and we finish a lap down with Otmar in P18. So a day to forget. To be fair, Otmar was only 6 seconds off P14, so it's not a complete disaster. And that some of that improved pace was showing. But yeah, you can see Solov stays in 8th. Antonelli has overtaken Otmir for P9, so Jarno drops to 10th. But still, both drivers in the top 10 is excellent, and that is going to mean in the constructors as well, we are going to hold on to our top 5, and crucially, no Williams in the points, so we do keep our 33-point gap over them. So happy days, and we will take that moving forward. You can see Ferrari lead the way in the constructors. Verstappen still has a comfortable lead in the drivers, but that is your lot as we analyse the post-race fallout from that one. Now, you can see we do actually still gain on our fan rating, which is good, and that's actually quite surprising. The feedback, of course, is mixed, and we do get some negative feedback. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this one. Hopefully you enjoyed it. If you did, smash the like button, subscribe for more, and also comment down below what you thought of the post commentary for a change. And yeah, massive shout out to my channel members. As always, you guys are always there. Also, check out the 2 videos on screen, including the reverse 100% race around this very track with Lewis Hamilton. Anyway, guys, cheers for watching. Take care, and that's goodbye from me. Ciao.